things are constructed in a certain order, why certain features may be taken out because other elements may be stronger, that they can add more features to kind of make up the points, that are not sacrificed, but are not worth the risk in other elements. So that's really good to know. Now, a throw jump. You have done throw axle, right?
I did throw triple axle, throw quad south, throw quad left.
Yeah. This is your wheelhouse. So tell us.
Yeah. I love throws. The hardest one for me to learn, and the one we see the rarest, is the throw toe. It's extremely awkward for the male partner to get out of the way of a throw toe. It gets very sticky. In junior, it is required every 3 years. The throw changes in the junior short. It goes from the sow to the loop to a toe takeoff, which will have to be a toe or a flip or a lutz. So it is seen more in junior than in senior. It's worth the least of all.
I'll show you.
That's also one of the reasons we don't see it. But right now we are seeing at the top of the world, even in that mid-pack, high flying throws. And this was something we only used to see from the Chinese. So it's again something that the world has adjusted and adapted to getting. For me, the perfect example of a perfect throw is Machina and Gallimanov's throw lutz. Not today, they were a bit scratchy today, but in the short program, watching that throw live, she lands with more speed than she takes off. And I've never seen a throw accelerate on a landing before. Back stays straight, the running edge is exceptional. And it's really, really well done. So that's definitely my favorite throw in the world. We don't see throw quads so much anymore because the base value has been devalued and it's just not worth it. When we did a throw quad, if it was landed with base value, we got about 8 points for it. Whereas a single skater on a quad, they're getting 12 to 13 points base value. So it didn't really line up with the difficulty, and that's why we were always kind of the only ones usually that would try it. Because I just wanted to do it, not because it made sense mathematically, because we could have got almost as much points for a well done triple. But we see mostly now we're seeing the throw loop and the throw lutz. Those are the highest valued throws. It's very rare to see a throw sow. There was one team at the Olympics that was doing a throw sow in the free skate. The two Canadians did throw sow in the free skate. They're the only ones. So we're really seeing a lot of more value in the throws, and maybe in the future they're going to change the rules and we're going to see more quads.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone doing throw axle?
No, because throw double axle is not worth that much.
No, it's triple axle.
The throw triple axle. So we did it in the short for half. When we landed it, we got less than a point more than when we landed a good throw lutz. We were like, we're taking this huge risk.
Yeah.
A huge risk, and it's not even a full point more when we landed. So it just
not right.
It wasn't worth it. We took it out, we throw lutz back in, and it just was stress off of our back.
No, I would definitely demand to see a manager, because that is not fair.
No,
that's not fair at all.
The way that they've valued these has been terrible. I do believe that it was highly influenced by officials that are part of the Russian figure skating committee, because they were at the time unable to do these difficult throws when we were doing them. So they were trying to find a way to make sure that there was no advantage, really. But as somebody who's done a very good quality throw triple and a decent quality throw quad, I can tell you the difference is a lot greater than what the point. Right. As in just the same with Shui and Han's quad twist versus a triple twist.
So you're thinking that with pairs, to maximize or to add features, the elements that are already there, instead of increasing rotation on the twists and the jumps. But you're thinking they are going to increase the demand of the side-by-side jumps. So that's what we're going to get to next.
Going to increase because the points are already there rewarded side-by-side jumps. I myself, I see Sylvia saying I should submit a proposal. I asked her next so many times, who is on all these about why this is like this, because all of the throws line up with the same base value as the jump. So a throw triple sow is worth the exact same as a triple sow in singles. A throw triple loop is worth the exact same as a triple loop in singles. They all line up, And then quad sow in singles is here, and the throw quad sow stays down here. So it's like they're all on the same ladder, and then all the and it's something that I don't know how much people have been fighting this. There was a point as I was retiring that the ISU was asking for doctors from different federations to submit studies or reports on the rate of injury training throw quads and these more difficult elements, because the ISU wanted to prove that it is too high of a risk, and that's why they don't want it done. But not one person ever asked us for input on that when we were the only team in the world doing it consistently. So why they're looking for feedback on the risk and the danger, but not one person ever asked us. But we were the doing it. It didn't make sense. And I never once got injured on one. You have to find your in sport, in any sport, you have to find what's worth taking a risk. So when I was competing 4 years ago, Shuyan Han and Terzo Ben Morzab were doing a quad twist, which for me is like death defying. I think I'm gonna die when I do a triple twist. So like I would never put myself in that danger on a quad twist because I know it's unsafe. For them, it's not unsafe. So for sure they can do it. For me and my coaching team, knowing the throw quad was not putting me in danger. So I think that it's up to the skater and their team around them to make these risks, not for the ISU to deem it too dangerous, because I am a living example of something consistently every single day for 4 years and never once had an injury. So they never asked us for that.
You'll be the first witness called at the hearing.
If there ever is,
You'll be an expert witness. Okay, so the jumps are usually you see them do like side by side, like, but you guys were strong single skaters, so you were able to do Lutz, so and that was
art
new in Lutz in combination,
and we were able in the short program to bank 1 point more on our side by side jumps than everybody else, and that 1 point made a big difference between getting in the final warm up group and not getting in the final warm up group, and it really set us apart. And it was a decision we made, and it took us 2 years to get that triple Lutz in competition. We missed it for 2 years. And I remember there was a Canadian that worked on the ISU board. He was the vice president, David Dorr. And he told why are they doing that? They could land a nice triple sow or triple toe. Change it right now. And Bruno, my husband, he said, one day they're going to win because of this triple Lutz. One day. Right now, it's not paying off, but one day it will. And we had to go through that learning curve and go through it. Like, we hadn't competed the triple Lutz, either of us, for many years. So it's just an adjustment. But once we got it. It became consistent, and we were rewarded for it. So I'm really happy that we trusted our coach at that time instead of the ISU official.
So you were saying even now they're doing triple or triple half loop triple?
Russian particular.
And now is that going to be pretty standard, do you think, for the next quadrennial?
I do think it is, and I think people amongst the pair skating community are starting to recognize this. Before even going to the Olympics, my husband already has the Japanese team training triple combinations because
that's a secret.
Yeah.
Are you giving out secrets?
Who knows if they're going to do it, but they're training it because they know they see the junior pairs that are coming in. They know what's going to happen. And if they want to stay in the hunt and keep pushing the sport, they're going to need these technical advancements. So I think that probably most coaches are seeing this, most skaters are seeing this, and it's definitely going to be something I foresee happening in pairs that will push people. Unfortunately, with the way the points are, the throw quads and the quad twists won't really be seen, but I think that we're going to see a lot more advancement in the side-by-side jumps.
They're saying they'd rather see higher base value rather than agreed. Now the death spiral. What is going on with that? It's kind of like in singles where they had beautiful spins, and then all of a sudden they started doing these truly strange positions, and it kind of contorted because some people are quite flexible and they can do a beautiful spin like Hanya or Jason or I'm trying to think of some others that are super flexible and they can do beautiful positions, even if it's pretty odd for some people, right? But with the death spirals, some of the positions are so not flattering, and that is such a graceful element. What's going on? Why are they? Is it because of points?
Like a classic, beautiful position. This is what I think about death spirals as well. They were one of my favorite elements. I love doing death spirals, and then later in shows, being really creative with entrances and exits of death spirals that at the time were illegal in competition. Now you can do all these fun entries and exits. You have 3 different death spirals. Well, you have 4. No, we have 4 different death spirals now. There's people doing all 4. The forward inside is considered the easiest, followed by the back inside. So when the female partner's on that inside edge on the circle, it's a little bit easier to control the circle, sustain the tension between the partners, because that's the most important thing in the death spiral. Then you have the back outside and the forward outside. Every year in the short program, they change the required death spiral. This year it was the requirement was the back outside. Next year it'll be the back inside. But we saw this year at the Olympics today, the 2 Chinese teams using the forward outside death spiral. So this is rarely seen, and it's not done in the most flattering way. So this may be the death spiral that you're thinking.
Yeah, it is.
They're holding.
And then the one leg is like in a passe position. And it's like, oh, please don't do that. Yeah.
I understand it's not flattering, and I agree, but it
looks hard.
Experience of seeing people forward outside. There's very few in history that have done a forward outside, and if you want to get a level 4, you need to stay in the death spiral position, and that involves staying on a nice big circle. And the way the female can push their hips and their bum to the outside of this forward outside death spiral, opening up their hip and holding their foot is helping their control with that shoulder.
Okay.
So it's not flattering, but I do understand it's the only way that they can do it, and they get a level 4 on it. It's worth.
Well, the last element, step sequence. So who competed this yet today that you really were pleased with? Who did you think did a great job with the step sequence?
Well, we don't have a step sequence in the free skate for pairs.
Oh, you don't? It's the short?
Yeah, we do it in the short. Okay. You have a choreography sequence.
A choreographic sequence.
So the footwork sequence in the short program, by far the best in the event, was Kaden Leduc. The quality of the skating skills at the edges of the turns, the musicality, the unison, the sense of purpose that they gave to every movement from their fingers to their head to their toes was remarkable. And there was no other pair team in the event that gave that type of dedication to their footwork sequence. And I was so disappointed that not one judge went +5. To me, you can't ask for more. Like, you cannot ask for more in the footwork. And not one judge thought it was perfect. And everybody I talked to in the pair skating world, everybody I talked to that's in Beijing, was all in agreement that this is the perfect footwork sequence.
Well, we have to start a rumor right now. And that way, Ashley and Tim will be rewarded at Worlds. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah?
As they should be. The quality of everything, they check all the boxes. They check all the boxes of what's required, and it's really unfortunate.
And now, this step sequence you said was in the short, the choreographic sequence in the long. Who was special today that stood out for you?
Oh, Shui and Han have a beautiful choreographic sequence. Yeah. They interweave with each other and with creative movements. It's musical. They have energy, great connection with each other, like beautiful +5 choreo sequence. What happens sometimes, I noticed today, and I've noticed it before in pair skating, is the choreographic sequence is kind of like a forgotten element. You can get from 3 to 5 points on that choreographic sequence. There's no level, but you do get a GOE. And today, when I was watching some of the teams, I struggled to find where their choreographical sequence was. I looked at the planned program and be like, oh, that was it. They did one spiral. They did one spread eagle. And it's really a chance to showcase a lot of creativity. I'm trying to think. There was somebody.
Well, it depends to the choreography, because sometimes when the choreography is laid out, that just calls for interplay and drama. And I think that when we see like that drama being performed, and the characters being interpreted, we buy into it, because sometimes things that might not be as difficult a skater may think like, oh, it's on 2 feet, and then the audience is thinking, that's so powerful, so the drama happens.
To take the time, and it's supposed to cover a certain amount of ice. And there's so much creative moves that can be done, getting dance lifts and transitions passing each other and little choreographical moments, nuances. It doesn't need to be an old-fashioned spiral. And it's really sad to see that wasted sometimes in a program. Sometimes it's because they're running out of time and they need to get to the next element. The clock is ticking. You have 4 minutes to do all these things. I do understand that sometimes that's the case. And sometimes, like, this is going to sound mean, but, like, it's kind of lazy of the choreographer. Not too much attention to it. And it can be rewarded in a big way. Not only do you get the GOE for it, but, of course, enhance your program components when you have a great graphical section.
And not only that, like, sometimes I remember when I was dancing, it was the in-betweens. It wasn't just like the solo focused, pieces that people were clapping. It was that drew the audience in and draws the judges in. So you need like the connecting steps to work. And that it can't look like 11 or 7 different things. It has to look like one thing, right?
They're weaved together and everything come together. And that's why Shui and Hans is so impressive. And I'm sure there's so many other ones, but that's like fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Really cool. Tomorrow Most Venus teams do a lot of creative moves throughout their choreographical sequence. Just sometimes they lack some of the flow, but they do a lot of really neat little lifts and passes as well.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the elements or features that are kind of old school that were, like this, in solo or in singles, they had figures, and a lot of those patterns were brought into, and now they're kind of like gone because people are just skating back and forth, jumping back and forth. What are you afraid is going to be slowly deteriorating from pair skating as the difficulty increases?
Why is it doing that?
Figures, and a lot of those patterns were brought into, and now they're kind of like gone because people
lyrics. And I think that it's not utilized enough in pair skating. I'd like to see more variety in terms of music that's used. Enough of these, like, every program being these slow, sensitive, emotional pieces. Those are amazing, but not when it's everybody.
Now, do you think it's a bonus now that there can be lyrics?
I do. I love it. I love that it has opened up this space. It makes it easier to cut music. It makes it easier to find music. And I think I really enjoyed it. I liked skating when I had lyrics in my program.
Somebody's asking about how do you find good music? So how do you? They want you to recommend some good music for pairs.
I'm not musical pairs that are for anything, that's for sure. Definitely not my expertise. But I do love variety. I don't like it when everybody does the same thing. So that's something that I tried to do a lot in my career, was explore a lot of different things. Like, I did a really theatrical program to Alice in Wonderland in 2014 in Sochi at the Olympics. And you know what? It never worked out. We never skated it well, unfortunately. The idea was great. It didn't manifest. So we learned, but we tried. And then we started music from Seal in 2017, which I loved, but it didn't really work for the team. Didn't really work out the way that we thought. We weren't rewarded the way that we thought, but we went out of the box and we tried. We did the same thing with Muse, with our Muse free skate. So yeah, we always tried to never skate to music somebody else skated to. That was like the one thing. When our choreographer offered us music, we were like, she wanted us to skate to Notre Dame de Paris forever. And we were like, well, Meryl and Charlie used it. No, we're not using that. It's been done. And she was like, that was so long ago. Like, we're not doing it. No. So we never wanted to do something that had been used before. That was something I was.
Yeah, it's hard, because with pairs trying to do something like Moonlight Sonata or something, it can be jarring, to watch a new couple come onto the ice. But the thing is, stretching yourself and getting out of a box, getting out of your comfort zone, that has made you a better coach, don't you think?
And I think it made me a better performer when I returned doing shows as well. And you learn. And when it was 2018 Olympics, we went back to what was comfortable. And that's the time to go back to what was comfortable at that point. But you grow as a skater, you grow as a person, you learn about sport, you learn about yourself, and you push yourself and you try all these things. And to me, that's fun. And it doesn't always work. It really doesn't. And that's okay, because along the way. And with that SEAL short program our whole season.
Yeah.
And so many people after the season was done were like, why did you guys stay with it? And like, we made a commitment and we wanted to see how much we could allow the program to grow. And it was the time for that. It wasn't an Olympic season. It wasn't, this such a high pressure season. And we felt like we could do that. We could take the time to do that. And we learned about ourselves and about our skating. And when it was time for the Olympic year, we were like, okay, no more SEAL.
Yeah. Someone just said they were surprised that Bolero was used in the ladies program. And, you think of Bolero as Torval and Dean, at least I do. I guess if you're not born in a certain generation, you don't think of it that way. But when Carolina Costner did it, it seemed to be fresh. So sometimes when you have something like that is so treasured and revered by a certain performer or competitor, you can bring it back, in the right. I think if someone tried to do Cyber Swan or something it would be different,
I think if I remember correctly, Carolina had a really unique twist. Like, there was like a bit of like a remix on.
Yes,
Bolero.
that's what I mean. Yeah, it wasn't the same, but it was Bolero.
She made it
her own.
Use the classical version. I do wonder myself when I see people. I saw the comment about the Bolero or somebody using Swan Lake at this competition.
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, the why behind those decisions.
Yeah.
Like the why of, are they just not focused on choreography and music? This is not something that they're prioritizing, because there are so many amazing options, and you never want to be compared to what somebody did to something in the past. I would have wanted. So, and then I don't know how many cases the skaters have much input in their music. I always had a lot of input in the music, like something if I did like something. So that's the case for a lot of skaters, including.
Now, what is your ideas on how to encourage more young people to go into pairs earlier?
Oh my goodness.
Feel stronger. Yeah. How do you want to do that? Because it seems like you have all the knowledge and you're an excellent communicator. So, give us a plan. What's your strategy?
I mean, something that I've really encouraged people to do, and I was talking about this earlier, I think that a lot of times for parents, for coaches, there's that worry that I'm going to lose my single skater. I don't want to lose my single skaters. There's a lot of coaches that have great single skaters that would be exceptional pair skaters, and they just don't want to lose their student. And I reiterate to people, you don't have to. You can still be involved. Your skater can still do singles with you and go do pairs somewhere else. Yeah. Or you can learn pairs with this skater. The journey with them, learn with them. I've never met a pair coach that wants to take the skater away from their original coach. They always want the original coach to be involved. And I think that that's very, very important. And I think another thing that's a bit of a stigma in North America, this isn't so much in Russia and China because it's a little bit different. I'll go into that in a second. But in North America, it's kind of like, if I do pairs, it's because I just wasn't good at singles. And like, it's just enough of that. I won a junior Grand Prix. I was at 4 continents. I was at Junior Worlds. I was on the national team. I was a very successful teenager in single skating, but I wanted to win, and I wasn't winning in singles. And I was like, well, maybe pairs will be my avenue. And going into pairs didn't mean I was any less of a single skater. It was just giving me more opportunity, and that's what happens when there's less entries in the field. So I was saying, in Canada we had 7 pairs at nationals. Half the field went to Olympics or 4 continents. Like, they got exceptional opportunity.
Crazy. Do you think it has anything to do with you've had some strong men, and you had Caitlin and Gabby, like you had strong women, and people kind of thought like, oh, I want to be like Caitlin, I want to be like, and then they don't want to, partner, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm hoping, like, after the success of the American pairs, that there'll be more people that think, I want to do that. Like, that looks fun. They look like, they were on the same path, and it seems like the trajectory of getting into that top 6 at nationals, not that it's easier, but there's less people to jump over. You still have to have the skills no matter what.
You have more opportunities in pair skating.
Yes.
In North America, this isn't the same case in Russia, where they have 13 senior pair teams fighting for top spots. But in North America, you do get more opportunities, and that's something that was really important to reiterate to people. I'm trying to. So many questions are coming in.
Megan, you were great at singles. I saw that.
It's gone now. I missed it. Something about dance.
Yeah, I think because people losing pairs because kids want to go into dance. Because between Canada and America, Montreal is like a dance factory. They are producing. They're producing and elevating, because a lot of talented teams are going there, and they are a polishing factory. I don't know how deep. I don't know if they have great novices and great juniors. I don't know that, but I do know that they can take a good team and make them great. So
they are very exceptional. One of the things, this is like, it might sound rude, but I don't mean this at all. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but in Canada, so many times I've heard skaters and coaches, they have a really great single skater. They're tiny, they're compact, they're dynamic. Quality, like, we need a dynamic, spicy character in pair skating. You're going to be the female pair. And they do a nice triple sow, a nice triple toe, maybe a nice triple loop. But they're 16, they don't have the flip and lutz yet. And they're like, I'm going to make it in singles. I don't want to go to pairs. I don't want to go to pairs. I'm too good in singles. And this is a big thing in Canada, because our women's field is just a little bit weaker right now. You're medaling or being top 5 at nationals without a flip or a lutz. So it's kind of giving them that impression. And then it's like, yeah, but you have to look at the world. You have to look at the whole world right now.
Yeah.
You have to look outside of Canada, outside of your province, outside of your club. You have to look at everything. And your qualities as a skater would be extremely successful in pair skating. And that's just often the answer I get when I kind of give that recommendation to somebody. Oh no, like, they're going places in singles. And it's like, not to be rude, but I skated with Eric, and he said, I was 18 and I couldn't do a triple axel. So I was like, well, no future in singles. I can't do a triple axel at 18, but I still want to skate. It's like being realistic with yourself.
Yeah. And not only that, when it is your passion, you want to widen it. If you can't keep climbing straight up, you want to climb out, right? And make the impact of whatever talent you have wider. So people are going to be jumping off soon to watch the coverage tonight. So what are the 3 big things you want them to look for?
Oh, that's fun. I think
what? I'm stumping you. I think
number 1, I would say to look for the intricacy between 2 partners. One thing that you'll notice with the top teams and the teams that may not be scoring as high is that they use a lot of different holds with each other. They skate close to each other, and they're weaving between each other. And this is like kind of a trait from ice dance that pair skating takes. So this is something to look for, and that's something that Shui and Han do really well in the free skate, as well as Tarasova and Morozov, exceptional at this quality. As well, to look for those high flying twists. You're going to see it from all the teams at the top. It's now the standard, which is so much fun. And then to be look for the ice coverage in the lifts. You're going to be surprised if that's what you focus on when somebody's doing a lift. You're going to notice now. Maybe why I mentioned some of the lower ranked teams is having better lifts than the ones on top. Just watch that ice coverage. Watch where the lift takes off. Where did it finish on the ice? And how much speed they had on the exit compared to the takeoff.
And we want to know the variations too, right? Because we want to know on the mount, on the position, rotation, and dismount, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And that's one of the reasons why teams struggle with ice coverage. You're changing positions 3 times up there. Of course, you're not going to be flying across the ice. Every time you change, you kind of like have that hesitation is not the right word, but you're careful. You don't want the lift down on one of those changes.
Right.
So yeah, it's something that makes that ice coverage a little bit more difficult.
Before we sign off, what was your favorite moment of the entire Olympics?
For me, it was the Japanese pair teams free skate for sure. My husband's team, a team that I worked with them the first year that they moved here. Every day I was very, very involved. Since COVID, I haven't been as directly involved. I more mentor them and stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna have to make them a freaking bronze medal that they can have when they get home, because this is ridiculous that the U.S. skaters and the Japanese skaters are going home without their medals from the team event. So I'm going to be making them bronze medals to give them, because they don't deserve to be coming home empty-handed.
No, I agree with you. If you are going to, I'm going to say this one last time, and I don't want to leave on a down note. If you presume someone to be innocent and you allow them to skate, then you have to presume that they're worthy of the medal if they're worthy to take Olympic ice. So, I mean, you should not punish. You know, it reminds me of like the old days where someone would chew gum in class and they would say, the whole class is being punished.
Yeah.
You know, it's so ridiculous. That did not work. You know, educators had to revisit that philosophy. So, I mean, the old dogs at the ISU, or I mean, who actually decided that?
The ISU, the organizing committee.
Yeah, because they were the ones that didn't. They were upset because of the CAA.
And they're gonna have to go back and give a different medal eventually. But those skaters would rather that happens. They would rather silver and bronze now, and if it changes one day, FedEx them the new one.
That's right. IOC. They said IOC.
Like they're coming home to be celebrated. You're going to go to schools, you're going to go to presentations, you're going to go visit people. And now this small group of skaters that medaled in the team event won't have this. They have an empty box.
Right.
Animal. And that's not acceptable. Like that irritates me to no end.
Well, thank you again. I'm sorry, what? What did you say?
On that note, the pairs event was amazing. That's a positive way to end the Olympics.
Yes.
So good for everybody.
Thank you to the pairs for saving the Olympics. Did you ever think you would say that in your life?
No.
Yeah, isn't it awesome?
Forgotten discipline. It's always the one that's first. It's always one the media cares less about. Even though there's a big audience and it's extremely popular with the audience, it doesn't seem to be marketed as the main discipline. But here it was the strongest event of all 4. The best skating we saw at these Olympics came from those pair skaters.
Yeah, agreed. And the best sportsmanship.
Yes.
Well, I would say to the dance. They were, they were.
I think we had a happy medalist, like 6 because of the team, but I think everybody on the podium and dance was pretty happy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry we got mixed up in the beginning.
I'm sorry to everybody, but I'm happy we got here. We had a lot of people, and I hope that anybody who missed it can watch the video.
Of course. And you know what? People should know what your schedule has been like. You're taking care of your own personal life, plus running to the studio and commentating, and then coming here or somewhere else and doing a second analysis for us. Because I think the more that people can appreciate why the scores are the way they are, there'll be less outrage and more engagement.
Yes,
I appreciate that. So with that, go have a glass of wine and enjoy yourself.
No wine. She's
I'm pregnant, so I'm
pregnant.
not gonna have wine right now.
Oh,
But,
congratulations. Wait, are we dropping some news here?
No, I announced
Oh,
it.
wait a second. I think I saw you on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm 4.5 months pregnant. I'm due in July. So yeah, all this running
So
around.
have some green juice. I'll have a glass of wine. You can have green juice.
I'll-
I'm certainly not pregnant.
Maybe a piece of cake.
I do remember seeing you on Instagram. You were in bed watching.
Yes, I was.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh my god, that was so funny. In that moment, I was watching the team event, and extremely happy to be in the position I was, but just in bed with my little belly, eating chocolate cake, watching the on the computer, and I was like, man, a lot's changed in the last 4 years. But in a good way, in a very good way.
Wow. There's something truly special. Well, this is a completely different seminar about your second child, so we'll definitely have another chat about that.
Oh, awesome. Maybe once the second baby. Well, I will talk tomorrow as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Okay, that was Megan Duhamel and Kelly Rippon, Adam Rippon's mother. All right. Thanks for listening with me. Bye. If you want to watch the exhibition, you can watch it on Peacock at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, and NBC is going to cover it from 9:30 Pacific tonight or 12:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, bye.